Welcome to video 2 on section 3.2, use parallel lines and transversal notes. So our objective for today is find measures of angles formed by parallel lines and transversals. So yesterday you learned all about the 4 types of angles. Today we're going to talk about all those properties if you have parallel lines. So to start off, like I mentioned, 4 parallel lines cut by a transversal. All of these statements will be true. Let's draw a little diagram here for you. So here are my 2 parallel lines. I know they're parallel because I put this little arrow, and then I have my transversal. So corresponding angles would be like angle 1 and angle 2. They're both above and to the left of the transversal. So with parallel lines, those corresponding angles are congruent. And I'll even put my example, angle 1 congruent to angle 2 because they're in the same position, they're corresponding. Then we have alternate interior angles. So if I look at angle 2, what's alternate interior to it would be angle 3. And again, those would be congruent based on those parallel lines. So angle 2 now congruent to angle 3. Alternate exterior angles. So if I look at angle 1, what is alternate exterior would be angle 4. They're both on the outside and opposite sides of the transversal. Those will also be congruent, and that's when I'm looking at angle 1 congruent to angle 4, because they are alternate exterior. Then consecutive interior, if I look at angle 3, what's consecutive interior would be angle 5. Now, special thing about consecutive interior angles, they would be supplementary. Okay, they're not congruent. So what I would say is angle 3 plus angle 5 would equal 180. And this is super important that we understand that consecutive interior are supplementary. Okay, so let's go to an example. Example 1, in the figure below, line B is parallel to line K. Let me put that little marking. That's super important. We need to have that fact. If angle 1 is 75 degrees, find the measures of angle 4 and angle 5. Okay, looking at this, since angle 1 and angle 4 are a linear pair, that means they would add up to 180 together. Angle 1 plus angle 4 would equal 180, which leaves angle 4 being 105 degrees. So they're a linear pair and supplementary. Then if I look at angle 1 compared to angle 5, I can see they're in the same position. Angle 1 and 5 same position, so that means they are corresponding. So angle 1 congruent to angle 5, which means angle 5 equals 75 degrees. All because of those parallel lines. Next, let's look at our example, that's example 1.5. Now let's suppose that angle 6 is 123 degrees. Find the measures angles 2 and 3. Do this on your own right now. Using this diagram over here, tell me what angle 2 and 3 is. Hopefully you had enough time, but angle 6 is 123 degrees. That means I'm going to look at angle 2, seeing that they're in the same position. So angle 2 would equal 123 degrees as well, because they are corresponding positions. Then angle 3, I can notice both ways. This is 123, so I can see that angle 2 and angle 3 add up to 180. Or I can see the fact that angle 6 plus angle 3 is going to equal 180 degrees because they are those consecutive interior angles. Either way, you'll get angle 3 to equal 57 degrees. Hopefully you see your mistake if you had one, and know there's many different ways to solve this. Example 2, what are the measures of all non-labeled angles? First, note that these are parallel lines, so all those facts that we said above are true. I'm going to start with vertical angles. Since this is 65, that means vertical angles, that would be 65. Corresponding position will be the next one I look at. What is above and to the right? Well, that's right up here, so this is 65. Now we have another vertical angle, so that's 65 degrees as well. The whole time these are degrees. Now I have this angle X right here. I know that X and angle 65 are consecutive interior angles. So angle X plus 65 degrees is going to equal 180 degrees because of consecutive interior angles. So when you solve that, angle X is going to equal 115 degrees. So let's put that in as 115 degrees. And then I have a vertical angle right here is 115 degrees. Corresponding position, if this is above and to the left, that means another above and to the left would be 115 degrees, and end with a vertical of 115 degrees. Okay, many ways to do it. Again, vertical angles, consecutive interior, alternate interior, linear pair, anything that you can use it, and you can find all those unknown measures. Example 3 is a little bit more challenging, so let's kind of do it together. It says in the figure above from example number 1. So I'm going to redraw it quickly here. And it has that transversal and my two parallel lines. It looks like this. This is angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. And this is just from example 1. I know line B and K are parallel, so I'm going to put my little arrow. They're parallel. If angle 2 is 68 degrees, and angle 8 says is, move over a little bit, angle 8 is 2x plus 4. Find the value of x. Okay, my little hint and trick thing over here. When solving problems involving a transversal, figure out which pair of angles you have. Well, looking at 2 and 8, they are not related at all. They are not corresponding, they're not alternate interior, not alternate exterior, and definitely not consecutive interior. So, my next step, decide whether the values are equal or add up to 180. Well, they don't relate at all. So here, bring in your vertical angles. If angle 2 is 68, that means angle 4 is also 68. If angle 8 is 2x plus 4, that means angle 5 is 2x plus 4. Well, now you just created consecutive interior angles. So consecutive interior angles, remember, are the ones that are supplementary. So I can do angle 4 plus angle 5 equals 180. Well, angle 4 is 68 degrees. Angle 5 is 2x plus 4. And that's going to equal 180. They're supplementary. When you solve that, and I'll let you go through those steps, show me those steps, x is going to equal 54. So it's all about finding what type of angles, plug in, and you can find those measurements. Okay, a couple more. For example 4, I'm going to do this one, and then you can do the second one. Use the figure and your knowledge of properties of parallel lines to find the value of x. Okay, thinking back to those tips and tricks that we wrote on the other side, I need to see how these two angles relate. So how does 115 relate to x plus 5? Well, they're not related at all. There's nothing about them. So I'm going to use vertical angles. That angle 4 is now 115 because vertically is 115 as well. Now I have consecutive interior angles, which are supplementary. So now I can solve this. Be 115 degrees plus x plus 5 will equal 180 degrees. Solve for x will give you 60. X will give you 60. Please pause the video and do the same thing for the next example. Okay, hopefully you took some time to do this. Looking at how 4x plus 6 relate to 92, hopefully you saw that they were alternate interior angles. And what do I know about alternate interior angles with parallel lines? Well, that they're congruent. So set 4x plus 6 equal to 92. X would give you 21.5, or if you prefer 43 over 2. Both of those are correct. One thing to note, the reason why we can do all these consecutive interior supplementary, alternate interior congruent, is because of these parallel lines. Everything based off of those parallel lines. Last problem, did we accomplish the objective? I would like you to do this problem. In the figure, you have angle 3. Where's angle 3? As 3x plus 15. You have angle 8 as x plus 100. And you are to find the value of x, then calculate the measure of angle 4. So there's two parts in this question. You should have two answers. You should have x equals and angle 4 equals. Take a moment. First, identify what type of angles you have. Are they corresponding? Alternate interior, alternate exterior? Do they even relate at all? If not, try to find vertical angles and find a way to relate these two angles. You should set up the equation and then have two answers at the end. Good luck!